Shalom, shalom, giving our honor and praise to the Most High and His Son, Yahushua. We are the Battle Axes of the Most High, coming to you on another Sabbath class to get edified in the Lord's name. The name of the class today is called The Spirit of the Wilderness. We're going to kind of touch on some stuff today, man. You know, going on a lot. Lots going on in Israel, lots going on in the world, in different things, especially going into seeing how the world going right now, how it's being a great divide right now. It's been a lot of stuff, but in Israel, there's a lot of Christians right now seeming like there's more fight back with the Christians right now than there's ever been. So we have to keep our spirit built up, because one thing about it, if these Christians can fool the very elect, they will do it. And so they're gonna be coming pretty tough. But it's got to be, brothers and sisters, got to be grounded. Can y'all hear me in the back? Y'all good? Rest time, what we look like? Good? All praise. First precept we going into today, Psalm chapter 95. We're going to start at verse 7. Psalm chapter 95, we're going to start at verse 7.
Just the book of Psalms, chapter 95 and verse 7. For he is our God.
The Lord is our God, right?
And we are the people of his pasture.
And the Lord said we are the people of his pasture. So the Lord said we the people of his pasture, right? Read.
And the sheep of his hand.
And we are the sheep of his hand, man. So just think about when the Lord's talking about his sheep, right? And a lot of times these nations get themselves confused when talking about the Lord's sheep too, though, right? Read.
Today, if you will hear his voice.
So he said, today, if you will hear his voice. This is the same thing that the Lord is wanting us to do. Think about when it said, the Lord said, if you would hear my voice. Think of like if a father or a mother talking to a son or a daughter. Hey, boy, you better hear me, right? This is what the Lord said to the children of Israel. You better hear me, right? Read.
Verse 8. Harden not your heart.
So guess what? This is the spirit that our people deal with right now. A hardened heart, right? You say harden not your heart, read.
As in the provocation.
Right? Read.
And as in the day of temptation in the wilderness.
So this is the reason why we're gonna touch on this thing today, right? As in the provocation and in the day of temptation in the wilderness. Meaning what? The wilderness of sin, the wilderness to try, right? But read.
Verse 9. When your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my work.
You see that? The Lord said our forefathers tempted him and tried to prove him, right? And the Lord showed his work. So if we tempted the Lord and we tried to prove our God, and the God showed us his glory and his works towards us, what do you think he's expecting out of us? Our works too, right? And to see our glory that he put in us. He expecting things back. If you got a friend, hey, if I show myself to be your friend and you show yourself not to be my friend, I'm gonna believe that you're not my friend. Right? But let's read on.
Verse 10. 40 years long was I grieved with this generation.
So the Lord said, y'all pissed me off for 40 straight years. Right? Think about it. Will anybody have a friend that long that's gonna piss him off 40 years, or you gonna be like, nah, I'm not gonna deal with you no more, man? The Lord said 40 years we pissed him off, man. He said he was grieved with us, man. Right? Read it.
And said, it is a people that do err in their heart.
Because we err in our hearts, but guess what? We also err in our judgment. Right? So when we err in our hearts, this makes us to make the wrong decision for our God. That's why we can't get our works together. That's why it's hard for us to prove one another. It's hard for us to prove ourselves to the Most High. He's not going to keep giving us things that we cannot prove ourselves to be who we are or who he made us to be. Right? Read.
And they have not known my ways.
Because we have not known the Lord's ways. Right? Read.
Unto whom I swear my wrath, that they should not enter into my rest.
So, but guess what? After the wilderness, when we proved the Lord and the Lord was proving us, The very next part was for us to do what? Enter into the Lord's rest, right? And this is what the Lord was basically wanting us to do from the beginning, to prove we prove each other, and after that we rest, right? Just like with everything else that the Lord made, He made it, He's seen it, it's good. I don't have to perfect it anymore. I made it, I seen it, it's good. But the only thing that when the Lord made, He seen it was good was us. He made it seem that we were good. But out of all the nations of people, He knew this side was going to do this. But He gave this one particular people options to do what I tell you to do or do like them. And we guess what we chose to do, like them. Right? And it's something that we need to be thinking about, right? Especially brothers and sisters going into the new year. We know this. I don't know if brothers and sisters knew that this probably one of the meanest winners. Guess what? Spiritually, not physically, because the weather's been perfect. But spiritually and financially and physically, guess what? It's been death after death. Look at all the people in Israel. We've been going through funerals after funerals. We've not just been going. Guess what? Spiritually dead children, spiritually dead wives, spiritually dead husbands, spiritually dead mothers and fathers. This thing has been ramped up higher and higher. So when Christ returns, guess what? He said He's going to wipe the tears out of our eyes, man. This is a real thing. And we got to prepare ourselves because we got to look from the spirit that we had since the time we came out of the wilderness to the time we got now. So this is why we got to be dealing with this thing. This is what we're going to touch on today. Right? Let's go to Exodus right quick, chapter 14. Start, because we already know that the Lord sent us into Egypt, right? But we're going to touch on that today too. Go to the Exodus chapter 14. We're going to start in verse 3.
Just the book of Exodus, chapter 14 and verse 3. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel,
What do you say?
They are entangled in the land.
So guess what? Pharaoh himself said the children of Israel are entangled with the land. What do you think this nation of people is saying about the children of Israel? We are entangled in America. The same spirit. They just keep evolving and getting on. That's what these spirits are ramping up to get worse and worse. And the good spirits keep ramping up to get better and better. That's how it seems. That's how it's supposed to be. Pharaoh himself said the children of Israel are entangled with the land, meaning they are entangled with the ways of Egypt, just like we are entangled with the ways of America, right? Read.
The wilderness has shut them in.
He said the wilderness has shut them in. Hey, this tough, man. Right? The wilderness has shut them in. Right? Read.
And I will harden Pharaoh's heart.
And so guess what? If the wilderness shut them in, and guess what the Lord said? I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart. Right? I said, I'm going to harden. Meaning the same way He hardened Pharaoh's heart. What do you think? Why do you think Trump doing the way he wanted to do? And how he doing? The Lord hardening his heart right now. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised when you see his heart is hard. Like, dang, he's really going against so-called Jason. It was supposed to be this way, man. Don't think it's strange. It's like it's gonna be some weird thing. No, it's not a weird thing to happen. The Lord hardened this, He did. They hearts. It's gotta happen this way. Because guess what? They're gonna have to let us go. The same way they had to let us go then, it's the same way they're gonna have to let us go now. Right? We got to get our mind prepared for this thing, though. Because if we don't, we will get swallowed up. Right? Let's read it up.
And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them.
This is what America want to do. They go. Trump hard follow, gonna be followed. Or any president that get into the office gonna be. Guess what? It's gonna be hard. It's got to ramp it up to try to keep us what? Docile. Try to keep us away from our God. Try to keep us in sin. That's why he compared Egypt to the wilderness. Because guess what? It was compared as sin to keep us in that direction. Right? Well, let's read and watch it.
And I will be honored upon Pharaoh,
right, read.
And upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord.
So guess what? The Lord said, I'm gonna be honored upon you, man. They don't know it. Guess what? Every leader or every person that got us in captivity now, they gonna know that the Lord is the Lord for real. He ain't gonna play with them, but he gonna hard it because guess what? We can't just balk. If you think we just gonna leave out of America and not have nothing, the Lord gonna give us the best of the best when we leave it. We're not leaving nothing behind that's supposed to go. They got to go with us. Right? Jump down to verse 8.
And they did so.
And they did so, right?
Verse 8. Verse 8. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
He said the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Read.
And he pursued after the children of Israel.
So guess what? That's why they refuse to let us go. You think they want to tell the so-called blacks and Hispanics, man, hey y'all, guess what, man? I'm just gonna be real with y'all. Y'all the children of Israel. Hey man, we supposed to be bowing down to y'all, man. We supposed to be y'all servants. No, they're not gonna do that. They gonna fight tooth and nail to follow after us to make sure that we doing the right thing according to their law and to keep us in docile and to keep us in bondage. They're gonna try to do everything they can to do it. They don't care if they got to get some of us, the people that look like us, to make us, guess what, fall for the trap too. They got to do it. And this is because the Lord is hardening their heart to do those things, though. Right? Well, let's read it.
And the children of Israel went out with an high hand.
Right, read it.
But the Egyptians pursued after them, all the horses and the chariots of Pharaoh, and his horsemen, and his army, and overtook them encamping by the sea.
See how they go? They follow hard after the children of Israel, man. They wanted to get them. Now, y'all can't go nowhere. Because if we leave, they talking about how they want to, get rid of Issachar. Man, Issachar leaves, man, all the bridges in America will collapse, man. Half the buildings in America will collapse if Issachar leaves, man. Because Judah, guess what? They got Judah wrapped up. We real street niggas. They got Judah, Hey. Our men so damn tender, it don't make no sense how tender our men is, man. They show women online whooping me. Hey, he cheat on me, I'm gonna whoop his ass online. What kind of tender ass? Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. They call them YNs, man. Y'all some stupid ends, man. And it makes no sense, man, to see a destruction of a people. But the Lord, guess what? These things must need be. Right? Verse 10.
Verse 10. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were so afraid.
Because this is what America is trying to get us to do, to put the fear into us. That's why the Lord said some of us will be in captivity. I mean, some of us will go to jail. Some of us they'll kill some of us. They're going to do all kinds of stuff to try to get us to conform to them. This is the same tactic that every captivity did. They did the same tactics over and over and over again. Who did they get it from? The Egyptians. Everything comes from the first captivity. You will see traces of the first captivity in every captivity that you read about, right? Because they had to have a blueprint to put us into captivity. It has to be a blueprint there. All right? Well, let's read.
And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. Right, read. And they said unto Moses.
And they said, watch how the children of Israel do. For us being afraid, this is what the next step of what an Israelite do for being afraid. Read.
Because there were no graves in Egypt.
Because there was no graves in Egypt. Read.
Hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness?
Y'all see this, man? So, Lord, what you doing this for? There wasn't enough graves in Egypt. We just couldn't get buried over. Why you say kill us in Egypt? This is what our people want to be. And some of our people going to get consumed here too. For that, right? But let's read.
Wherefore hast thou dealt with us to carry us forth out of Egypt?
Right, read.
Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians?
Man, you think it ain't Israelites doing that right now, man? Saying, leave us alone, man. We American. We Americans, leave us alone, man. Hey, this is the free. Man, look here, man. Everybody in here, all Israelite, 90% of damn Israelite broke right now because we all trying to pay our rent or still trying to find enough money to pay that mug. Man, y'all better stop saying something free in here, man. You can't even run your mouth because you run your mouth long enough, they have your ass in jail too. Say no damn freedom, man. We got to struggle. Man, look, to try to pay our light bill, car note, insurance. Hey, just to drive down the road, okay, you can't drive on this road because it's going to put a toll on you, and you're going to pay a toll every quarter of a mile. But you done already took money already to build it, out of our money, out of our pockets to build it. Right. Then you turn around and tax it to get on it. Bring it out. This ain't free. What kind of freedom is this, man? Right? But let's read it, huh?
For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness.
So this is how people be thinking, man. Leave us alone in America, man. Let us live like the Americans. This is why Pharaoh said that he knew the hearts of the people of Israel gonna be entangled with the Egyptians, with the people in the land. This is the same thing that we going through. The same entanglement now we got in America. It's the same entanglement we had then. It's got to go this way, man. Verse 13.
Verse 13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not.
So that's why when we read the scriptures, we trying to tell our people, don't fear them, man. Keep it strong. We okay. The Lord gonna fight. It's gonna say it. Read it.
Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. Today.
Meaning, guess what? It's not going to be a long time for him to show us these things. You're going to see who really runs something. The Lord going to get ready and start showing the world who really runs the show. We just got to hold on to it, man. So we won't get consumed with what's going on here in America and get consumed with what's going on in the land and get swallowed up and being entangled with America, right? Or being entangled with the people that got in the captivity, right? What with it? Verse 13.
13. Yeah. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today.
Today, read.
For the Egyptians, whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them no more forever.
Guess what? What you think is going to happen here? Yeah. Guess what? Esau just in power is going to come a time when we ain't going to see them no more forever. Boy, it's going to be a special day. That's going to be a special day. Right? Read.
Verse 14. For the Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace.
So they said the Lord finna fight for us, man. We just got to hold our peace. We got to stay in order. We got to do as the Lord commanded us to do, man. Because if we do and follow the instruction how the Lord tell us to do, we're going to be good. But we don't seem like it's good right now because of all the stuff that's going on around us. Man, if you know all our life, I don't care, from the oldest person to the youngest person, we always heard about it's gonna be an end of the world. Everybody heard about that. I don't care if you're atheist or whatever you claim to be. Everybody heard about the end of the world, and everybody heard about how Christ is coming back. Everybody heard these things. Some people lose faith and don't believe it. Some people lose faith, and guess what? They don't think none of that stuff is happening. Yeah, but guess what's going to happen? If you can't see the signs of the Bible unfolding in front of you, guess what? You got to be one of the dumbest people that's walking this earth. Man. You got to be.
Go ahead. And that's why, even like what Ak is bringing out, people see that vision is getting more and more clear, though. Because they see, even with the doomsday clock, I don't know if brothers and sisters know, but they keep a time on the doomsday clock. That thing is steady inching up hours and hours. I don't know if brothers and sisters, y'all haven't looked those things up. So they see these things that are more achievable, mainly with the invention of the nuclear bomb. So they know that these things are on the horizon, man. Go ahead, huh?
Skip that precept right quick. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4. I wanted to pull Romans 12, but this is the same thing, man. This is a spirit that the Lord knew that the children of Israel were going to have on them. Why? Because our forefathers had the same spirit on them, man. All right? Would you sit us out of Egypt that we should die in the wilderness? That spirit that we would rather be with our oppressors than with our God, man. This is the spirit that we are having in this wilderness, man. Read 4:22.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 22. That ye put off concerning the former conversation, the old man.
This is the conversation that our forefathers had. This is the former lust that our forefathers had on them. What? Would you send us to America that we die here in America, right? We'd rather be with Americans than try to deal with the Israelites, right? We'd rather keep living in what? The American dream, right? Keep up with the Joneses, right? We'd rather be doing this. But the Bible said that in the New Testament, right, that we were going to have that spirit on us, but it said put off the concerning former conversation, man. These are the former conversations of our forefathers, man. Read on.
Which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust.
And it said it's the old man, because that old man loved America, right? That old man wanted to flourish in America. That old man wanted to get the cars, the whip, the clothes, everything to look good for America. But these are the former things that we got to put off, man. We're no longer trying to live for America. We're trying to live for the nation. You know?
Verse 23, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
And this is why it's telling you to be renewed. It's saying the same thing in 1 Corinthians 12. I mean, in Romans 12 and 2. Right? Don't be conformed to this world, but be what? Renewed in your mind. Right? Have a new aspect of life now. Our aspect of life was, well, we're gonna be some more niggas. Right? We're gonna struggle some more. We're gonna try to do the best we can, but then we're gonna die. This is gonna be it, right? But now we're trying to renew our spirits, man. Come back into who we are. Seeing the Bible gives us what? Adequate understanding of if we put off that old man and form a conversation, we can be what? Kings and princes. Read.
And that ye put on the new man, which is after God, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness.
And this is the thing about it. That old man and new man, man, this is the spirit that we got to get up off of us, man. You cannot take and bring that old man with you in every aspect right now. Even in our relationships, in our marriage. You can't bring the old man into a marriage, man. You can't bring that old woman into a marriage. That's not what that man was looking for. That's not what that woman was looking for. We went into it last week, do benevolence. You are old to do better and be better, man, for your your spouse. Not only for your spouse, but for the Most High God, man. For your nation of people. Read on.
Verse 25, wherefore putting away lying, speaking every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another.
Read 26, we'll get out.
And be ye angry and sin not.
And we should be upset about this, man. We look at our brothers and sisters out here, man, they love America. They love bondage. They love captivity. They love being on the bottom. They love God loves everybody, right? But just 50 years ago, hell, we were still slaves, man. They didn't even have right to even go to so-called white churches. Were they reading that scripture in?
Right.
Was they reading that scripture in? When you can even go to a so-called white church, but God loves everybody? Where was John 3:16 in? Hell yeah, you ought to be upset, man. Piping mad, but what? Be controlled with it. See, your upset anger got to be controlled, man. Got to be controlled anger. Yes, I'm upset, but what I'm going to do about it is I'm going to read, I'm going to study, I'm going to change, I'm going to take off that old man and put on that new man. I'm going to take off that old woman and put on that new woman, and I'm going to show them that our God is for us. And this is our God. I just brought the priest about. He is our God, and we are his people. Got to put off the old man and old woman. We love bondage, and this is the spirit on us, right? I can go into this. Go ahead,
Big con. Let's go back to Exodus chapter 14. Let's jump down to verse 19.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 14 and verse 19. And the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel.
So guess what? It said the angel of God that which went before the camp of Israel.
Removed and went behind them. And the pillar of cloud went. And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. And it was a cloud and darkness to them. But it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night.
You see how they go? Man, if you don't think we got protection, the thing is, we just got to be able to make sure that we doing the right thing according to the laws, statutes, and commandments, and able to get that protection. They was closing in on us. The Lord was a pillar of cloud in front of us. He removed from going before us and stood behind us to protect everything that was trying to hit us from behind. Man, if that ain't amazing how our God be. So the sidebar. Those Songs of Solomon. Brothers and sisters should kind of write that down right here beside me too. Songs of Solomon, chapter 3. It's gonna say Solomon in this, but it's gonna be touching on it. Songs of Solomon, chapter 3, and verse 6.
This is the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 6. Who is this that cometh out of the wilderness?
It said, who is this that coming out of the wilderness? Read.
Like pillars of smoke.
Like pillars of smoke, man. This is the same thing that we see. Came forth out of the wilderness like a pillar of smoke, right? Read.
Perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, with all powders of the merchant.
So when I read this, when I read how the Lord was a pillar of smoke or a cloud that was in front of us, I'm just looking at how the Lord it's just all the glory all around. It's just the fragrance is good and the atmosphere is good. He making things pleasant for our sight. They're making things pleasant for the children of Israel, man. It's like, just think about these things, man. That's why I say it's like a sidebar precept, man. Just think about how our Lord comes. He ain't coming like some old ordinary, regular old Negro. No, he coming like a king will come.
That's right.
Right? When he step on the scene, you know he there. His trumpets blowing, right? Good smells, incense. Guess what? All the fireworks coming out. This when the real thing comes, man.
That's right. Power and glory.
This is after power and glory, man. I say when you read down, like I say, it goes into talking about how Solomon is, but this thing right here, this is going into basically a presentation on how the kings be and how he rolls, man. Right? Let's go back to Exodus chapter. We're gonna go to Exodus chapter 15 this time. Exodus chapter 15. We're gonna start at verse 22.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 15 and verse 22. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea.
So Moses brought Israel, man. He was a pillar of cloud. He was in front of him. He went behind him. Now Moses brought the children of Israel from the Red Sea. Read it.
And they went out into the wilderness of Shur.
So they went out into the wilderness. Read it.
And they went 3 days in the wilderness.
So now they went 3 days in the wilderness. Here it comes.
And found no water.
And they found no water. This is how, brothers and sisters, we got to start putting our spiritual blinders on, man. We got to start putting our thinking caps on, man. Right? They went 3 days in the wilderness. They didn't have no water. Right? But let's read.
And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah.
So when they came to Marah, this city Marah, they couldn't drink the water that was there, right? Read.
For they were bitter.
Because the water was bitter, read.
Therefore the name of it was called Marah.
So therefore the name the Lord said he called Marah. Marah means what? Bitter. Right? Read.
Verse 24. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, what shall we drink?
You see how they go? Instead of going to inquire to see what you need to do, guess what our people started doing? Complaining, griping, started doing all these different things. For what? It does not make any sense to even do it. But here our people go. with their hardened heart, murmuring against Moses. And they thinking they talking against Moses, and it's not against Moses. It's against the Lord. But watch how I read, though. Go ahead.
Verse 25. And he cried unto the Lord. And when the Lord showed him a tree which he had cast into the waters were made sweet.
And this hold it right there. Let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 2. 2 Ezra chapter 1. 2 Ezra chapter 1 in verse 23.
This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 1 and verse 23. I gave you not fire for your blasphemy.
So guess what? The Lord is going to explain what he's second Ezra is explaining what's going on. The Lord said, I didn't give you fire for your blasphemy. Meaning what? They started murmuring against Moses and Aaron. And it's going to show it. Watch it, read it.
But cast a tree in the water and made the river sweet.
He said he cast a tree in the water and made the river sweet. So when we go back and read it, it's going to go into exactly what Ezra was going into, what the Lord was showing Ezra, right? Because what they was doing, they was blaspheming against the Lord for even speaking, murmuring, instead of like, Lord, just praying to the Lord, Lord, can we get some water? Or can we get something to drink? Right?
And I'm going to tell you what's being brought out, what Ak is bringing out is very heavy. Brother's seeing that thing on a spiritual sense. Who is that tree? Yahweh. Remember, the words are what? Sweet and what? Bitter. But just have to think of these things on a spiritual level, man.
Right? Let's go back to Exodus chapter 15. Like I said, you brothers got to start. It's time to put the spiritual blindness on, man. Brothers got to start seeing these things in the spirit, man. Let's read verse 24, 25. Yeah, 25.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 15 and verse 25. And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree.
So he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree. This is what Ezra was going into, right? Read.
Which, when he had passed into the waters,
What did he do?
the waters were made sweet.
Saying the same thing. When he cast that tree into the water, it made the water sweet. Only thing he had to do was just pray to the Lord. But the people murmured and complained. Moses turned around there and prayed to the Lord. The Lord showed him a tree. He threw it in the water and made it sweet. That's all they had to do in the beginning. Just tell them what you need. You don't have to do all of that. You just have to tell the Lord what you need. Instead of murmuring and complaining, you talking about the wrong one. Go to the source so you can be able to get things provided to you. This is how this thing works.
Let's get a precept real quick. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 24. Because even like Ak is touching on this some heavy stuff. I know a lot of times brothers want to go deep, but can you really receive that thing when it come out, man? Like I say, brothers have to make sure you see these things in the spirit, man. Go to the book of Sirach, chapter 24 and start at verse 13. To get straight to the point.
Book of Sirach, 24, verse 13. I was exalted like a cedar and
Libanus in certain categories refers to what? To the land of Israel.
Read on. And as a cypress tree upon the mountains of Hermon.
And the mountains of Hermon is also making reference to Israel. Remember, these are similitudes. The Most High God compares one thing to another. This is Sirach going deep and talking about Christ. Sirach chapter 24 and verse 13. Read it from the top again.
Sirach 24 and 13. I was exalted like a cedar and Libanus.
A cedar tree is what? The highest, the most strongest tree, the tallest trees. Read on up.
And as a cypress tree upon the mountains of Hermon.
Read on up.
I was exalted like a palm tree in Gedi.
In Gedi was a paradise or an oasis in the desert. What more do you need when you in thirst in the desert? You need an oasis because an oasis is what? Full of greenery and it's full of water. to be able to give you nourishment from the dry heat. Read on up.
And as a rose plant in Jericho, as a fair olive tree in a pleasant field, and grew up as a plane tree by the water.
By the what?
By the water.
Read on up.
I gave it a sweet smell like cinnamon.
So that's where we get that sweet from. Read on up.
And Appalachian.
Uh-huh.
And I yielded a pleasant odor like the best myrrh, as garbanum, and onyx, and sweet storax, and as the fume of frankincense in the tabernacle.
Uh-huh. Read on up.
The turpentine tree, I stretched out my branches, and my branches are the branches of honor and grace.
And those branches are making reference to who? The children of Israel. All this is symbolic metaphors. Read on up. Just the point.
Verse 17, as the vine brought I forth pleasant savor, and my flowers are the fruit of honor and riches.
So when you keep reading on down, this is also just going more into how Christ is that tree. And he comes to give us nourishment, sweet smells, come to give us what? Water. Go ahead, Op.
Big time. Let's go back to Exodus chapter 15.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 15 and verse 25. And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet.
Oh.
There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them.
So guess what? The Lord said when they cried, they started murmuring and complaining. The Lord said he made a statute and an order, right? To prove them, right? Meaning what, brothers? Let's see where y'all live. See if y'all woke. Meaning what?
Worthy of the kingdom.
Huh?
Worthy of the kingdom.
It's not gonna go so far. Meaning if they're gonna shut their mouth and reverence the Lord or not. Right? He wanted to see, that's why, just like you gotta think, when the Lord's talking about the children of Israel, you gotta look in the manner of the Lord being our Father. And if we reference, if your children in this mermaid were griping and complaining about what you're doing for them, are you gonna keep on trying to do something for them? Or if you need to shut your mouth and they need to come to me and talk to me like you're supposed to, because you know you need something. Right? Hold on. Right? Y'all understand it? The rules understand it? Sisters understand it? But let's read.
Verse 26, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight.
See how they go? You got to diligently do it and do what's right in his sight. Right, read.
And will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes. I will put none of these diseases upon thee.
So the Lord said, I will put none of these diseases upon thee. Read.
Which I have brought upon the Egyptians. For I am the Lord that healeth thee.
So the Lord said, he said, all the diseases and all the stuff that he put up under the Egyptians, the Lord said that he gonna heal us, man. We're gonna be good. You can be fixed. The problem ain't so bad about the children of Israel that can't be fixed. But guess what? Through captivity, through our ignorance, we fall deeper and deeper and deeper into the hole. Right? We literally fall deeper into the hole. Watch this, brother. Go to Luke chapter 5. Luke chapter 5 and the parable. Let's see, verse 37.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 5 and verse 37. And no man putteth new wine into old bottles.
Going into what Captain Yaru was touching on. You got to change your mind, man. You can't keep on with the same mindset, because you got to think the children of Israel just got been griping and complaining, telling them what? Well, you should have left us in Egypt, man. We didn't have, we could have stayed in Egypt, man. We didn't have to die. I mean, you had to bring us out to the wilderness for us to die. Complaining. right? That's why it says no man can put new wine into old bottles. Read.
Else the new wine will burst the bottles.
The new wine burst the bottles. Read.
And be spilled, and the bottles shall perish.
Guess what? Meaning that brothers can be spiritually dead in this truth. Trying to be the same old man. You got to change these things, right? But watch how it go, though. Let's read.
But new wine must be put into new bottles, and both are preserved.
So guess what? Not just the spiritual aspect, but the physical aspect can be cured too. So the Lord said, you got to put a new wine in a new bottle, meaning you got to change your old mindset and get the new mindset to put it into your new person that you are. Right? Verse 39, the point.
Verse 39. No man also having drunk old wine straightway desired new,
right?
For he said the old is better.
You see how people, just think about this parable. All the children of Israel was used to living this old way. The Lord gave them a new way and to give a new and more better understanding to them. That's why the Lord said, no man having the old way think the new way is any good. Right? Going into it, because they're going to say the old is better. You know how it go. We even talk about going into sports. Let's just think about a sports aspect. Oh, y'all do folks, man. Y'all do all, man. Old school, you couldn't do nothing. But if you look at it not on a carnal side, look on the spiritual side of things. You cannot get the old man thinking it's going to be something. You're going to bring the old man thinking it's something better. Right? Man, these new folks running circles around the old folks, man. Even though we tear their ass up in basketball anyway, y'all know how it goes. Them young folks. But hey, it is what it is. But being the old man spiritually, you cannot bring this spiritual old man thinking you're going to bring this spiritual old man to the Lord. What you think is going to happen, man? You know you're going to burst. Guess what? It might last for a little while. It might last for a day. It might last for 2 days. Hell, it might last for a year. But it's still going to burst. If the Lord said it's going to happen, it's got to happen. All right? Go to Psalm 78. We'll tie it in together. Psalm 78. In start at verse 18.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 78, and verse 18. And they tempted God in their heart by asking meat for their lust.
All right, so they tempted God in their heart by asking meat for their lust, right? Because these are the things that the Lord was talking about, going into getting emotional, right? Was asking meat for their lust, meaning they didn't really need it. But let's read it. Watch it.
Verse 19, yea, they spake against God. They said, can God furnish a table in the wilderness?
So they spake against God, asked God, said, dang, can God furnish a table in the wilderness? Look at how our people think, right? Our people think ignorant as hell. Say, damn, can God furnish a table in the damn wilderness? But watch it, read it.
Verse 20, behold, he smote the rock, that the waters gushed out.
So he smoked the rock, the water gushed out. Read.
The streams overflowed. Can he give bread also?
So can he give bread also, right? Read.
Can he provide flesh for his people?
Read.
Therefore the Lord heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel.
Right? Read on.
Because they believed not in God, and trusted in his salvation. And trusted not in his salvation.
And trusted not in his salvation. Right? This is what God got upset about. We in the wilderness. And we didn't trust our God. And so guess what the Lord did? Y'all don't trust me? Okay, then. I got this right here for y'all. Now I got this for y'all. Now I got this for y'all. It's like an ongoing cycle that the Lord was basically showing us. Right? Think about how Moses did. What happened when Moses struck the rock, brother? Water came out, but after that, what happened? What else happened? After that, what happened? Tell me, brothers. Y'all act like y'all slow to talk, man. We just had a problem about this thing. We were talking about this a couple Camp 101s about this, man. Brothers, god dang it. What happened after that? Huh? God gave them, he would say it again.
God gave the water and they complained about bread.
Yeah, God gave them the water and they complained about bread. Go to Numbers. Numbers chapter 20 and start at verse 9.
This is the book of
Verse 8, slide.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 20 and verse 8. Take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water.
It shall give forth his water. Not my water, but his water. Right? Read.
And thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock.
So Moses was supposed to go to the water and go to the rock and to speak. He said, Moses was to speak unto the rock, and it shall bring forth the water out of the rock. Right? Read.
So shalt thou give the congregation and their beasts drink.
You know?
And Moses took the rod from before the Lord, as he commanded him. And Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock. And he said unto them, hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock?
So here come Moses. Must we fetch this water? What must we fetch? What must we? Right? You can't do that, man. It's all about all praise to the Most High, man.
That's right.
It's all about all praise to the Most High. Must we do this? Right? Read.
And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also.
So guess what? Yeah, the congregation drank, and the beasts drank too. And they still wasn't satisfied. It's like when we touching on it, it's like an ongoing thing. It's like a one thing after another thing that Moses was trying to provide. Guess what? Moses got out the spirit. Read verse 8 again. Huh?
Verse 8. Take the rod and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother.
Right.
And speak ye unto the rock.
He said, speak unto the rock. Read.
Before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water.
So, the brothers catch that. What was Moses supposed to do?
Give glory to the Lord.
But he gonna give glory to the Lord, but what else are we supposed to do, brother? Speak to the rock.
Straight commandments.
Straight commandment. I'm talking about, this is a simple task. Right. Speak to it. He didn't say go whoop the rock ass. Brothers got to pay attention to what scriptures are saying.
That's right.
You can't go outside of doing what you want to do. When the Lord tells you to do, this is what he's saying.
That's right, man.
He said, speak to the rock. Yeah, he took glory because he's already out the spirit. He was adding damn sin to sin. But he was out the spirit. Because that's why he said, you rebels. He called them damn rebels, man. Right? Moses was pissed the hell off because he keep doing, it was like one thing after another. And he was the mediator. Why do you think Christ was a more perfect mediator? Because he wasn't going to get out of order. Right? He wasn't going to speak those things. But guess what? As a carnal man, that's what Moses did as a fleshly man. He started thinking like a man because guess what? He was going through the same thing. You think when the children of Israel didn't drink water for 3 days, you think Moses drank water while everybody else was drinking water? No. He was literally going through the same thing that they was going through. Plus, he had to go on top of that mountain to commune. He had to be in order.
Let me get this precept real quick. You already know we want. We just quoted what we want. See where brothers at, man. Brothers gotta wake up, man. 2nd Ezra chapter 7. Straight commandments. But you gotta stay with us, man. 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 21. Because even like Ak is touching on, which is heavy, a lot of times we get those straight. A lot of times the scriptures tell us, make it plain, man. But a lot of times our people want it deep and you can't even handle the basics. That makes absolutely no sense. Most High God is telling us straight things to do, but we want to go in a zigzag. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 21. For God had given straight commandments to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Even just like how the Most High God told Moses what to do. He told him those things to do what? To avoid punishment. But our people, we talk about Esau being a glutton for punishment. Hey, our people as well, we love punishment, man. Because if we did, we would do the things that we did, man. Go ahead,
Then come. Let's go to Exodus chapter 16, man. We just touched on how say, can the Lord build a table in the wilderness? Meaning what, bros? And see where y'all live. Put your spiritual blind. Can the Lord build a table in the wilderness? Meaning what, bros? Let's see. Food to eat. Can we put it? When you use a table, you got a table for you got so you can have food to eat. Right? This is what they were asking in Psalms. Can the Lord build a table in the wilderness? Meaning what? Man, you trying to question if God can do something. If you're a believer of the Most High, you should be able to believe He can do anything if we choose to. Right? Let's read Exodus chapter 16.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 16 and verse 1. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of sin.
Came into the wilderness of sin. Right? Read.
Which is between Elim and Sinai. On the 15th day of the 2nd month, after their departing out of the land of Egypt.
So this was 1 month later. Read.
And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness.
He just made the water sweet. Now they back complaining again. Right? Read.
And the children of Israel said unto them, would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pot, and when we did eat bread to the full.
Right?
For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger.
This is why, brothers and sisters, well, that's why I said we're going to tie it in together. That's why you going back to Luke chapter 5, verse 37 through 39. You cannot turn around and say the old is better than the new. Brothers and sisters, get that. When you turn around saying the old is better than the new, now you making the Lord a lie. Like He don't know what He's doing. Because they trying to turn around and say, oh, it was better for us to stay in Egypt. We ate all the food we want. This is how our people's spirits are in America. Hey, America treat us good. Trump in office, get that stimmy. Man, look, I ain't saying that we ain't gonna take this thing. Because we do need to survive. But with the Lord step on the scene, we know all of that is done away with. No more captivity. That means all of that is brushed up on the table. No more captivity. But until that, the Lord won't throw us something, hey. God dang it. They killing us over here, man. I was watching screen the other day. He said, Jesus, bully, you killing me. He's supposed to be faking stabbing him. He was stabbing him for real. That's how Esau be for real. They ain't gonna play. They gonna do it for real, but right?
And that precept, go ahead and get the precept. I was just gonna say, man, and we can look at it. Unless you got a spirit on you, ain't nobody can look back and say my life was better being a nigger woman or a nigger man compared to being Israel. If you can sit up here and literally say that, you got some kind of spirit. Take your ass back where you can. You go on back to that old man and see where it gets you. You can't sit up here and say that, man, that you tasted the goodness of the Lord and all of his promises and see where it is and still say that, damn, man, I still wish I could go back to being that nigga man and that nigga woman. It's crazy, man. You got to have a spirit. All right? We got to put out there. Go ahead, Doctor.
Let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 5. Because this goes into brothers and sisters have to learn to be content with the necessity. You know, I know a lot of times, and that is the deception of America. They show all these glamorous things on TV, and brothers and sisters run out of their wits to achieve these things, man. Brothers and sisters literally sell their souls to the devil to just get a slim piece of the pie.
5, 10 years, boy.
And you know, you got to do something strange for a piece of change to get something in Esau's kingdom, man.
Right.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 5. Read them right quick, God.
Hebrews, chapter 13. Let your conversation be without covetousness.
And that's one thing that brothers and sisters must practice, even like what Captain Yard brought out. To let me back again. You know, not letting that old man go, because that old man conversates about covetousness. Don't up
and be content with such things as ye have.
Read that part again,
and be content with such things as ye have.
Because that was the problem that the church of Israel had in the wilderness, man. They weren't content with the Most High God giving them the things that were nourishment to their spirit as well as to their bodies, man. They wanted more. They rather have bondage in Egypt than to have the blessings of the Lord in the wilderness, man. That's crazy, man. Why take the Lord any day in any dry desert, man?
Come with it.
Because that mug is gonna be like an oasis out there, man. In any climate weather. That's the mindset that we have to have, man. We don't
let your conversation be without covetousness and be content with such things as ye have.
As ye what?
As ye have. For he has said, I will never leave thee nor forsake.
And that's what the Most High God reassures us constantly throughout the scripture. He never leaves us nor forsake us if we follow his straight commands. If brothers is going out, man, don't look for the Most High for help, man. Come on, man. You don't been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, 7, 8, 9, 10, 100. Come on, man. And brother still, no. Read on up.
Verse 6. So that we may boldly say, the Lord is my help, and I will not fear what man shall do it to me.
And that's the point, man. To where we grow spiritually in this thing. Go ahead, up.
Brothers, what's a precept? Another precept for that, being content. There, brothers, on the what's another precept about being content? About being content. Do any brother got a precept by this? Any sister got a precept by this? Look, I already know. I see him. Dang. I see him, man.
Well, you be trying to get that count one-on-one and soak in, man. We'll go back basic again. Man. I think y'all brothers y'all want to go a little deeper, man. Y'all want to go all the way basic, all the way back again, man.
So we're going to do sister camp one-on-one next Thursday.
Go up, come back.
Sisters, where we all at Thursday, man? We're going to sister camp. I like it. I like Philippians 4. I'm basically looking for Proverbs 30 and 8. Being content with what the Lord gives you, right? And it lets you know in Proverbs 30 and 8 why to be content with what the Lord gives you. Because you'll go astray and fall off like our forefathers did. They weren't content with the rock, the water, right? They weren't content with the manna, right? And now they wish that they could get what? The food that they were getting in Egypt. Proverbs 30 and 8 gives you the understanding on that, man. Why to be content. Make sure y'all put that next to it. Go ahead. I just want to see what it is. Next to that, Hebrews 13.
Let's go to Exodus chapter, what we at, 16? Jump down to verse 10.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 16 and verse 10. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud.
Right, read.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak ye unto them, saying, at evening ye shall eat flesh, and in the precept for necessities. Daoud, what are the things that we need? What you got? Daoud, what are the things that we need in life? And what else? So where is that precept at? Where is the precept? It's all right if you don't know. Do you know? Well, it's not all right. It's really not. It's been reported many years. What is the precept, sister? Yeah. Let's go there right quick. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 39.
Yep.
Brothers, not applying yourselves. Man, got to apply, man.
To apply yourself. Daoud.
Read that right quick, guys. Get back to
The book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 25. Like verse 26. The principal things for the use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and blood of the grape, oil, and clothing.
So we see the principal things that we need. Read on up.
All these are for good to the godly. So to the sinner, they are turned into evil.
So we see what the Most High God gives us these things for a blessing, but Esau had turned these things into what? Curse. What is the precept to this? What you got, Brother Renard?
29 and 1.
All praise.
29 and 1. No, 29 and 2.
Make sure y'all write that down. Precept to what Sister Netta gave. So it's Rock 29:21.
We back on?
Yeah.
Roll. Go back to Exodus chapter 6, 16. And what we about to verse No, we passed 10. Verse 12. Sixteen and 12.
The book of Exodus, chapter 16 and verse 12. I've heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. I'll read, speak unto them, saying, at even ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread,
Right?
and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God.
Right?
You know, and it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host.
So, think about what we read in Psalm chapter 78, asking about can the Lord prepare a table in the wilderness, right? These are the things that we was touching on, right? I said we could try to tie all these things in together, right? Seeing how only thing the Lord said they was murmuring. If they could have just cut the murmuring out and just asked the Lord for what they wanted, right? That's what this is the time that we in now. We got to stop complaining to start asking the Lord for what we want, right? The Lord is not a hard person to get along with. We got to be able to do the things that we're supposed to do to get right and get in order with the Lord, right? Let's start having a vision of what the Lord wants us to have for our future, man, right? And because this is what the tri-state was supposed to be. The children of Israel were getting tried to see what they can have for the future. And this is what our tri-state has to be too. See how we're going to get tried for the future, right? But let's read. Watch this. It says, dew lay round about the morning. Read.
Verse 14. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness, there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoar frost on the ground.
Right, read.
And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, it is manna, for they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat.
Man, just think about it. The Lord was taking care of the children of Israel, man. Was literally taking care of the children of Israel. I pray the Lord that I can be able to make it to the wilderness if He allow me to make it to the wilderness. Big ass plate of manna, man. I'm talking about for real. I'm talking about big plate of manna. I want to enjoy that, man. Right? Spiritually and physically, man. All right? Go to Matthew chapter 6 right quick. Matthew chapter 6, verse 25.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 25. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life.
So the Lord said, take no thought for your life. Meaning, don't get something set up in your mind to make you gripe and complain about the things. Right? Read.
Take no thought for your life, what you shall eat or what you shall drink.
What you shall eat or what you shall drink. Y'all see how it is spiritual. I told you, open your spiritual blindness. This is the same spirit that the Lord was dealing with in the wilderness. It's the same spirit that He's talking about now. Take no heed for your life, what you eat and drink. I hope you brothers turn y'all spiritual blinders on, man. Right? Read.
Nor yet for your body.
But nor yet for your body. Read.
What you shall put on. Is not the life more than meat?
Is not the life more than meat? Read.
Is the body than raiment?
Right, read on.
Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap,
right,
nor gather into barn.
So the fowls of the air, they can't go and manufacture or produce food or plant their own food, right? Read.
Yeah, your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are you not much better than they?
This is how we got to be thinking. If the Lord feeds the animals who's walking around this earth, ain't we better than the animals? Right? This is giving it to comparison, especially getting on the spiritual side of thinking like, dang, ain't we better than the animal and the Lord feeds them? He gonna do the same for me. But we got, guess what? We just got to do what He told us to do. Why you think the animals is in complete order with the Lord? The animals so much complete order. The Lord feed them, and the Lord turn around and say, hey, birds, hey, go over there and kill this thing over here. Go what the birds gonna do. It's done. Rhino, go over here and do this to them. It's done. Same thing you trying to tell us. You tell us what to do, guess what? It gets done. But sometimes we lay up these spirits on us, and after we lay those spirits on us, guess what? We can't find a way out of that thing. Even in times past. Watch this. I'm going to show you something how the Christians, they say a lot of stuff, or he say a lot of stuff, but we don't know where it comes from. It's literally in the Bible. Though. Watch this. Go to Leviticus chapter 16. Let me show y'all something right quick. Watch this. Leviticus chapter 16, start at verse 6.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 16 and verse 6. And Aaron shall offer his bullock of the sin offering.
So Aaron shall offer his bullock of the sin offering, read.
Which is for himself, and make an atonement for himself.
He said, make atonement for himself, and Aaron for what?
And for his house.
So Aaron had to go make atonement for himself and go for his house. This is the same thing what Christ was touching on in Hebrews. Let's go there. We're coming back to Leviticus chapter 16. Go to Hebrews chapter 7. We're going to start at verse 27.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 7 and verse 26. Who needed not daily as those high priests.
Start at verse 25.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 7 and verse 25. Wherefore he is able also to save them to the uttermost that come unto God by him.
By him, read.
Seeing he ever liveth to make intercession for them.
So guess what? Christ is going to take over this office that Moses was trying to do. What happened with Moses was the intercessor, but Moses made a mistake doing what? Not following the guidelines of what the Lord told him to do. Christ was not going to make that same mistake, right? Read.
For such an high priest became us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens.
Right? Verse 27.
Who needed not daily.
Who needed not daily, read.
As those high priests.
As those high priests like Aaron and Moses, read.
To offer up sacrifice. First, for his own sin.
Well, we was reading about in what? Leviticus chapter 6, making a sacrifice for his own sin first, read.
And then for the people.
And then for the people. This is literally the precept to Leviticus chapter 16 and verse 6. It's literally the same precept in Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 26. Just saying in a different way, but it's saying the same exact thing, right? Read.
For this he did once.
For Christ, he did this once. Read.
When he offered up himself.
So Christ did this once when he offered up himself. This made the difference between what Moses and Aaron did and what Christ did. Christ didn't have to go get an offering for himself. Christ was the offering, right? Let's go back to Leviticus chapter 16 and read verse 7. So, brothers and sisters, y'all precept that back and forth. On Leviticus chapter 16 and verse 6, that precept is Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 27. We go back and forth, right? And it's going to read to show you why it reads like that in Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 27. It explains this. Read it.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 16 and verse 7. And he shall take the two goats and present them before the Lord at the tabernacle of the congregation.
So he should take two goats. Meaning, just like he said, he take one for himself, now he take one for the people. Right? And he should take the two goats and present it to the Lord for the tabernacle of the congregation. But read verse 8.
And Aaron shall cast lots upon the two goats. One lot for the Lord, and the other lot for the scapegoat.
This is where we go into a scapegoat. Brothers and sisters, make sure y'all write down beside scapegoat. You know how you be talking like, dang, that was a scapegoat for him. Yes, this is where they get it from. We literally had a scapegoat for real. Right? Verse 9.
And Aaron shall bring the goat upon which the Lord's lot fell, and offer him for a sin offering.
For sin offering.
But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord to make an atonement with him and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness.
You see how they go? To let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. The Lord meaning what? We're going to go and read something that's going to say something that's going to be different. It's going to be different, but it goes into the same thing. That scapegoat was what? A way for us to get out of our sins, right? But when the Lord, when the Most High God allowed us to have that, when the Most High God allowed us to have Christ to come back, it's something else I want to say. When the Most High God had allowed for Christ to leave a comforter, that's it. When he allowed him to leave a comforter, the comforter literally put a spirit on us, and that comforter awakened the spirit that was in us. So when you think about even certain things like Paul is saying, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. The scapegoat was a way for us to escape from our sin. This is what Paul was saying, the same, going into the same thing. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, we're going to start with verse 13. Get straight to the point.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10 and verse 13. There have no temptation taken you, but such as common to man.
Meaning, guess what? No temptation, meaning no sin that can overtake you. All these things come into me and read.
But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able.
Right? This is the point, read.
But will with the temptation also make a way to escape.
The Lord, now we don't have a physical scapegoat. Now the Lord put the spirit in us to give us a way to escape. Meaning to give us a way to get out of that sin before it even happens. Brothers and sisters, get that. We don't have the physical scapegoat that the Lord can go down to choose and do this, and we got the priest office that go. No, we ain't got that right now. So the Lord gave us an intercession, meaning what? Gave us the Holy Spirit that woke up in us to give us a way out. Right? He said, with that temptation, also make a way to escape. Read.
That ye may be able to bear it.
That we may be able to bear it. Right? This is how brothers and sisters get into the understanding on how your spirit should be waking up on. Sometimes brothers and sisters go into sin because the Lord, goes into also how brothers and sisters go into sin. But the Lord said, my people perish with a lack of knowledge. Because they have no way to escape some of the sins that they're in. They have no way, they have no understanding to get to escape. And they're going to perish by that thing. They ain't got no escape go to forward. So now the Lord gave us Christ, which made a perfect sacrifice for it. Show you something too. Because I know a lot of times we think of our children to be, America, they think our children to be, what you call it? They want to make our children grow up quick. They want our children to grow up quick, grow up now. We got to have them now. I'm 18. I should be going. The Lord never told us none of that. Right? This is something that we're going to have to start thinking about too, because when we don't think about it, we'll perish too. Right? But we can see certain things happening. And it's something, like I say, every time I make a class, I make classes mainly. If I'm dealing with a spirit or if I see spirit, we got to call out things as it be. Because the Lord said, no, you're not your own self, right? Let's go to Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18. What am I going there before I go there, brothers? Let's see if y'all know, right? Give it to me. Number 1 and 18. What is that? What's that, brother? Huh?
No.
Yeah, so come on with it. What you say?
Yeah, you already father.
Yeah.
No,
I told you, but we're going to look here, man. We're going to read in the beginning. Capt 101, man. I'm telling you, man. In the damn beginning, man. I told y'all, man. Man, I tried to have a good talk with brothers, man. In Capt 101. I told brothers, not this Capt 1, but the last one I told brothers, I said, man, I got Capt 101 then every Thursday. Brothers, y'all being here quiet, man. Y'all brothers embarrassing me, man. Thank you.
10 years later.
For real.
I want brothers to be certain of his faith.
Man, be confident. Oh, fathers? No, that ain't fathers. Come on, man. It is. Damn, Brad, I'm gonna blame you too. You sitting in the back, man. Yeah, you just say so. Numbers 1 and 18. Read it. No, read start verse 18. You start verse 18.
Come. The book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 17. And Moses and Aaron took these men, which are expressed by their name, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month.
So Moses took these men, right? Talking about men, read.
Come. And they declared their pedigree after their families by the house of their fathers.
By the house of their fathers. So he's determined the men pedigree by the house of their fathers, right? Read.
According to the names, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward by their poll.
So the men that was 20 years old and upward was supposed to be, these are adults. There's no more child. You are a grown man or grown up at 20 years old. How can we prove it? It just said I said, how can we prove that 20 years old becomes a man? It just said. That's when they went to war. Go to chapter 14. Chapter 14 and verse 26.
The book of Numbers, chapter 14 and verse 26. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, how long shall I bear with this evil congregation which murmur against me?
Murmur against me. Read.
I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, which they murmur against me. Say unto them, as truly as I live, saith the Lord, as ye have spoken in my ears, so will I do to you.
Right, read.
Your carcasses shall fall in the wilderness, in this wilderness, and all that were numbered of you, according to your whole number, from 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me.
This is how you also prove that 20 years old, meaning the Lord killed, he said he kept the children, and he did what? He killed the adults. So 20 years old and upward, guess what? Yeah. You just got to think about that. This is how we prove those things, right? 20 years old and upward, this is how you get it, right? Jump over to Joshua chapter 5. Make sure y'all brothers and sisters, y'all write that down beside that, and 20 years old and adult. Because the Lord killed what? All the, and he's going to say who else? He's going to say what he killed. Joshua chapter 5, verse 4.
The book of Joshua, chapter 5 and verse 4. And this is the cause why Joshua did circumcise all the people that came out of Egypt that were males, even all the men of war, died in the wilderness by the way after they came out of Egypt.
So the Lord killed all the males and all the men of war, meaning what? Everybody that was 20 and over, he killed. Right? For watch this read.
Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness, by the way, as they came forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised.
So he said not all the people. He said now all the people that came out of Israel, they were supposed to be circumcised, meaning what? Physically and what? Spiritually circumcised, right?
Read. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness. All the people that were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were consumed.
So this right here should give you a better understanding. When it started to break down about the men of war, you shouldn't even know how old they were to die. The Lord was literally killing them all. So I wonder how, no, it's literally telling us. Right? Right? Read it.
because they obeyed not the voice of the Lord, unto whom the Lord sware that he would not show them the land.
So whom to the Lord, when he said he would not show them, he would not show them the land. Right? Read.
Which the Lord swore unto their father, that he would give us a land that floweth with milk and honey.
Right? Think about this. The Lord said he's going to kill all the males and all the men of war. Guess what? 20 years old and over. Why? Because these are the men were supposed to be guiding their household, were supposed to do what thus said the Lord. The Lord said, you know what? They didn't do it. I got to kill them off, man, because they not listening. I'm going to show you how the Lord get down. Watch this.
Because remember that saying goes into what? It's hard to teach a what? Old dog needs to read. But the Most High God said that he's dealing with the babes.
Last days, man. He's dealing with babes because it's just too hard, man. Y'all see how brothers and sisters, how brothers fight tooth and nail for brothers and sisters that have been in Christianity for many, many years. Now, we ain't saying it's impossible, but we know obviously we have elder brothers and sisters in the congregation that have woke up. But it's hard as hell, man. Hard, man.
Right? Go to Deuteronomy chapter 8. Starting verse 11.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8 and verse 11. Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God.
It said, beware not to forget the Lord. It said, they're telling you not to do these things, right? Read.
And not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day.
Come down to verse 15.
Who led thee through that great and terrible wilderness.
He said, who led you through the great and terrible wilderness? Right? So the Lord turned around and posed a question to us. He said, who led you there? Who led you through it? Read.
Wherein were fiery serpents.
Fiery serpents, read.
And scorpions. And drought, where there was no water.
Read.
Who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint.
Right, read on.
Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not.
Which thy fathers knew not. Read.
That he might humble thee.
That he might do what?
That he might humble thee.
So the Lord's showing us, look, I'm proving y'all proving me. Because as y'all ask me or y'all complain about these things, the Lord turned around here giving us things that we complain about. He's giving us to us. You say you want food? Here you go. You want drink? Here you go. Right? Y'all should already know going into the storyline of the wilderness or going into the storyline of Egypt. Right? But let's read some this more now. Read.
Come, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee to do the good at thy latter end.
Right? So because these are the things that brothers and sisters got to get themselves prepared for. Especially when we get when Christ returns and we go back into the wilderness, he's trying to prepare us for the latter end, meaning what? To take over the world. Right? Read.
Come, and thou say in thine heart, my power and the might of my hand hath gotten me this wealth.
Y'all see this? I want to see if brothers catch this, man. I really do want to see if brothers catch this. Read that again, huh?
And thou say in thine heart, my power and the might of mine hand hath gotten me this wealth.
Brothers, explain this to me.
So when we get this position, we don't think that we did it ourselves.
Thank you. Thank you. So we won't think we did ourselves, that we got a God that we can depend on. Right? This is what it's all about. Right? So we can't say, no, we did this. No, the Lord did this, man. Right? Read.
But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God.
See how they go? That you won't say that you did, that you will remember the Most High God, that he did. Right, Read?
For it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth.
You see, the Most High God is the one that gives you power to get wealth. Right, Read?
That he may establish his covenant, which he swore unto thy fathers, as it is this day.
Meaning not just wealthy in a physical wealth, but a spiritual wealth. You can't say that, oh, I did this to gain the knowledge. guess what? As the Lord tried you in this truth, He wanted to see how much He can. The Lord wanted to see how far you can go and how much He can give you. He ain't really just give a knowledge and understanding for any old dude that walk or any old sister walk in because you say, "I'm here's a life." You're gonna have to be trying to get this. You're gonna have to have that spirit, that complaining and murmuring, all these things. You're gonna have to get rid of a lot of spirits on you to be able to get more knowledge of the Bible. They wonder why I can't understand it. You can't understand it because guess what? You one of the people that don't want to shake their spirit on you. Right? Brothers and sisters got to be able to hearken to that thing, man. Go ahead, huh?
In verse 17, read that again. Y'all mind, I read it.
And thou stay in thine heart, my power, and the might of mine hand had gotten me this well.
I'm looking for one word. What is this going into? One word. Read 17 again.
And thou shalt say in thine heart, my power, and the might of mine hand had gotten me this well.
What is the Lord trying to get us to look out for?
Say it again. It said covetousness.
Two words. I heard pride from Ark and vanity. Pride and vain. This is pride, man. This is why the Lord said that in Proverbs 16:5 that pride is an abomination. Because you'll start thinking that you can do this thing without the Lord, which we did. Which a lot of people out here thinking now. Oh yeah, I believe in God. I'm good. I'm good. Nah, brother, you ain't good. Nah, sister, you ain't good. That's pride on you. You need the Lord on every endeavor that you encounter. Everywhere you walk, you need the Lord. Everywhere you go, any encounter that you come into, you need the Lord with you, man. This is pride the Lord is trying to watch us out for, man. Oh yeah, I did that. I did that. You think you win the battles on your own? You think you won that battle? You think you passed that test by yourself? Our Lord was with you right there the whole time. All right? Understand that. This is pride. Go ahead.
Let's go to the book of 2 Ezra chapter 4 because, like we said, that's the spirit that brothers and sisters must watch out for, man. A lot of times when brothers and sisters have that spirit on them, you don't went too far in this world, man. Like, you don't went too far in the world.
You go too far now.
Read this right quick, y'all. And the Most High God sent the Archangel Uriel to basically check Ezra's homies. Read this out. 2 Ezra chapter 4 and started verse 1.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 4, and verse 1.
So the brothers and sisters should know this story. Is the Most High God sending the Archangel Uriel to answer questions for Ezra. Read on up.
And the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer. It said,
and I think Uriel means light bringer. Read on up.
verse 2, it said, thy heart hath gone too far in this world, and thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High?
So even when you go into those things, when you think that you got these things by your own might, a lot of times that's a spirit like I was going into vanity and pride. That's something that we must learn to check in our spirits, man, because Most High God will give you a reality check, man. He'll give you a reality check when you thinking you got this by your own power, by your own might, man. You cannot have those thoughts, especially in these last days, because all these things come from the Most High. All of read verse 2 again, huh?
Come. And said, thy heart hath gone too far in this world.
And we want to make sure that that don't happen, man. We know that guess what, brothers and sisters fall 7 times, but guess what? We rise it up again. You want to make sure that your heart don't never go too far in this world, because if you slip, hey, you may not be able to get that thing back, man. You may not ever be able to recover from that thing, man. No brothers may be thinking, hey, I can slip a couple times, I'll be all right. No. That's your heart going too far in this world on that, even with sisters, man, because the Most High got to do the same thing. Read it through.
Come. And thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High?
Read on, see what he said.
Then said I, yea, my Lord. And he answered me and said,
Oh, no, that's all I want.
Big gun. Let's go back to Deuteronomy chapter 8. in verse 19.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, and verse 19. And it shall be, if thou do at all forget the Lord thy God, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you this day, that ye shall surely perish.
This is the same thing I was touching on, man. Right? That you should surely perish, man. And I know brothers and sisters like a lot of their spirits that they deal with on a day-to-day basis. You know, and I know most brothers and sisters try to put checks and balances on stuff. But what about the spirits that you don't think about that you have on you that you don't put checks and balances on? Right? What about the spirits that your husband or your wife got on them that they don't put checks and balances on, but you see? Right? These are the things. What about the brothers and sisters in here? What about the brothers and sisters that you know in the truth? They don't put checks and balances on that you can see, but they can't see. Because I'm going to explain something to you how it works. If you can see a spirit on me, what else I can say behind it? I can see a spirit on you. But some of the spirit that brothers and see on each other, guess what? Evil suspicion can overthrow your thought. Y'all brothers understand that? If an evil suspicion can overthrow your thought, man, this man study correcting me, this and that, this and that. Brothers and sisters got to humble down and take their correction. If I'm doing something and you trying to correct me, then I'll go. Because you doing no, humble down. Humble down. Let me correct that within me, like King David said in Psalm chapter 51. Then I'm able to teach somebody, right? Well, we got to get ourselves wrapped around, though. I'm going to show you. When brothers and sisters, this is not going per se directly into the wilderness, but when King David hid in the wilderness and he waited for the Lord, what happened to him then? The Lord fought for him in the wilderness because of what? Saul was trying to kill him, his own brother. His own brethren was trying to get him. He was from the tribe of Benjamin, but he's a brethren. He's an Israelite, man. Right? Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 17. Start with verse 28.
The book of 2 Samuel, chapter 17, and verse 28. Brought beds and basins and earthen vessels and wheat and barley and flour and parched corn and beans and lentils and parched pork and honey and butter and sheep and cheese of kind for David.
Yeah, what? So they keep David here eat cheese for y'all sisters. Hey. Read.
And for the people that were with him to eat.
To eat, read.
For they said,
What they say?
the people is hungry and weary and thirsty in the wilderness.
You see how they go? He said the people be. So when thinking about, and this, I said, brothers, I want brothers to put their spiritual blinders on, man. It says, King David says what? The people in the wilderness are what? Hungry and thirsty. Meaning what, brothers? I'm going to see if you can tie it on, because we tie this thing in together. Meaning what? You're going to be tried. A spirit going to come on you to what? To feel hungry. A spirit going to come on you to feel thirsty. A spiritual hunger and a spiritual thirst will come on you for you to be tried in this truth. Not just a physical, but a spiritual hunger and a spiritual thirst going to be on you to be tried. Right? Watch this. Go to Psalm 107. Psalm 107. And say, when we read these things tie into each other. Psalm 107 in verse 4.
The book of Psalms, chapter 107 and verse 4. They wandered in the wilderness in a solitary way.
So they wandered in the wilderness in a solitary way, right? Meaning they couldn't go outside the boundaries. It was the direction that the Lord had them to go. Right, read.
They found no city to dwell in.
And he said, in this wilderness, the Lord said they found no city to dwell in. Read.
Hungry and thirsty, their soul fainted in them.
You see how they go, hungry and thirsty? They soul fainted in them. Right? Because in the wilderness, you will feel the hunger and thirst. Don't think that you're not going to feel it. Right? Meaning what? In your trial period. Guess what? The Lord put us through things so we can feel it. He ain't put you through it so you can't feel it. Yes, we gonna go through all kind of hardships and all kinds of stuff. God dang it, boy, I'm talking about, boy, you got to stay in the spirit. Because you're gonna go through things. Don't think this world is just so hunky-dory that you can't, no, you're gonna go through these things. Right? This might not be the physical wilderness that we going through right now, but on the spiritual, that's why I say, brothers and sisters, put your spiritual blinders on. Right? But read it.
Hungry and thirsty, their soul fainted in them.
Right, read it.
Then they cried unto the Lord in their trouble.
So, then they cried unto the Lord in their trouble. Read.
And he delivered them out of their distresses.
So, guess what? You didn't hear them say they murmur and complain in their trouble. They cried unto the Lord in their trouble. Brothers and sisters, get that. This is not a murmur and complain. This is a cry unto the Lord, asking the Lord for help. This is the time when, brothers and sisters, when we see us going through what we're going through, this is the time for prayer. This is the time for fasting. This is the time for alms. This is the time for all these things that come into connect, because you know you trying to get, you trying to get about this situation, man, for distress, like Scripture say. Go ahead,
Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 10. Because even like I can say, remember the Most High God, things that were written aforetime was what? These things are written for our learning. So when we get in a particular type of spirit like that we can think upon classes like these, that we can think upon scriptures like these, guess what? Pop back at the spirit. Read this right quick, God. Sirach chapter 2 and verse 10.
The book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 10. Look at the generations of old.
So we should look at the generations in the land of Egypt, in the wilderness of Egypt. We should look at the situation with Saul and David. We should look at the situation with Paul. We should look at the situation with Christ and the disciples. Read on.
And see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded?
Did any ever trust in the Most High and they were confounded? Even when we out there, like I say, we undefeated out there, man. That's why the world is in an uproar right now, because we're not confounded in bringing out the truth of the Bible. Read on up.
Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken?
Do you abide in keeping God's commandments and you forsaken? Read on.
Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
Man, this is some heavy stuff that brothers got to pay attention to, man. Like we say, Sirach chapter 2 is the ultimate pick-me-up spirit chapter, man. Read on up.
Verse 11. For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiving sin.
Read on up.
And stable in time of affliction.
And we got to remember that the Most High God saves in times of affliction, man. So when that affliction come on, you have to look to the generations of old, man. Don't look into your own mind and to your own heart, because that's what brothers and sisters go off with. Thinking that, guess what, they can do it by their own strength, by their own power, what we just went over with vainglory. No, we got to look to the strength of the Most High. Go ahead,
Like I say, when you fail miserably, fail. I'm talking about fail horribly, right? Go back to 107. Psalm 107, verse 6.
The book of Psalms, 107 and verse 6. Then they cried unto the Lord in their trouble, and he delivered them out of their distress.
And he delivered them out of their distresses, right, Reed?
And he led them forth by the right way.
So, thinking about the Lord, when we cried unto him, he led us out, he said, the right way. He didn't say, I took y'all out the wrong way. No, he led us out the right way, right, Reed?
Come, that they might go to a city of habitation.
Said we might, because think about it. When we was in the wilderness, the Lord said we didn't dwell in them cities. That wasn't our habitation. That wasn't our rest. Just like thinking about, like I say, bro, put your spiritual blinders. This is not our rest. We might be here, but this is not our rest. We want to go back to the city of habitation, man. Not just habitation, a quiet habitation. Go to Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 20. This is the precept for this. For the city of habitation. Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 20. This is the precept for habitation. Well, so they did not know.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 33 and verse 20. Look upon Zion, the city of our solemnity. Thine eyes shall see Jerusalem, a quiet habitation.
This is what's going to be. Jerusalem, a quiet habitation. Why you think the Lord called it the city of habitation? Because it's a quiet habitation, man. Right, read.
Come. A tabernacle that shall not be taken down.
A tabernacle that cannot be taken down, read.
Not one of the stakes thereof shall ever be removed.
Think about this. The Lord said not one stake can be removed, man. Right? Read.
Neither shall any of the cords thereof be broken.
Not even no cords of Jerusalem can be broken. Think about this. Old brothers and sisters, man, get your spiritual blinders on. Go ahead.
That's a heavy precept. That is a heavy precept. Now, one of the statements, when these people try to put themselves in the fold or you can't do it. Right. You can't take out one step from this habitation, man. This house that the Lord built for the children of Israel is for his children of Israel only, man. That's a great precept, brother. Need to have in their mindset, man. Even for camp, man. That's a heavy precept, man. Put that in your mind, man. Go ahead, man.
Big on that, man. You know we've been in touch. John chapter 4. We're going to start at verse 9. Like I say, you can't touch not one stake of Israel, man. Nothing can be removed. I guess we're going to grab in something they don't even supposed to be here. It don't make no sense, man. Right? John chapter 4 and verse 9.
The book of St. John, chapter 4 and verse 9. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him,
This is the Samaritan woman.
how is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me?
Right? So he said, how can you being a Jew ask you to drink of me? Read.
For the like which am a woman of Samaria.
Read.
For the Jews have no dealing with the Samaritans.
So the Jews have no dealing with the Samaritans. Read.
Hold on, let me ask right quick. You know we gotta ask.
Why didn't the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans? Any brother, raise your hand. What you got, Twain?
They were cut off.
Why?
Going into idolatry.
All praise God.
Right? Read.
Come. Verse 10. Yahweh shall answer and said unto her, if thou knowest the gift of God, and who it is that said to thee, give me to drink, thou wouldst have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water.
Let's go touch this in the Old Testament. Go to Isaiah chapter 43. Show you. Isaiah chapter 43. And start at verse 18. Watch how I read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 43, and verse 18. You said 18, right?
Yeah, verse 18.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 43, and verse 18. Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old.
So remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. What we were reading in Luke chapter 5, y'all brothers tune in. Luke chapter 5, verse 37 through 39, right? Tune in. I told you we tie things together. That's why I want brothers to have their spiritual blinders on. Don't say the old things is better than the, y'all understand that? All right? It said, remember not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Right? It's saying it plain. But let's read it.
Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth.
So he said, I'm going to do a new thing that's going to spring forth. Right? Read.
Shall ye not know it?
Shall you not know it? Read.
I will even make a way in the wilderness, in rivers in the desert.
He said he's going to make a rivers in the desert. Guess what? Guess how it reads in John chapter 4? What I read in John chapter 4? A living water in a desert. What's the living water in the desert? Look, I hope brothers and sisters catch on to this. What's the living water that was in the desert? Christ. Well, when he was talking to the Samaritan woman, what was the living water in the desert? Hey, brothers, come on, man. Stay with me. The northern tribe was the desert. Brothers, understand it. Christ was the river that was in the desert to bring what? Living water. That's why I said it's read a little differently, but you got to be able to interpret. Right? Watch how I read. Watch this. Read on.
Come. Verse 20. The beasts of the field shall honor me, the dragons and the owls, because I give waters in the wilderness.
So guess what? It said the beasts of the field is going to honor them, and then the dragons and the owls, because I gave water in the wilderness. He gave what kind of water in the wilderness? Living waters. Right?
And rivers in the desert, to give drink to my people, my chosen.
Y'all see this, brothers? I gave drink to my people, the chosen. Man, it's hard to get around what scripture say. It's literally saying who he gave the water to. To my people, the chosen. And who is the chosen, brothers? Plain. Right? Read.
This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise.
So who is the people that was chose for the Lord's self? Israel. Us. Right?
Showing you that woman that he was dealing with had to be a what? That's the point, man. Because you have brothers out here that teach that Samaritan woman wasn't an Israelite. Yeah, damn.
I know.
It's made so plain when you just read it through the scripture. You know, it's
Like I can touch on, it's made it plain. I'm talking about made it plain. Watch this. Go back to John chapter 4. Somebody, like I say, just make it plain, man. Christ had told her that he's going to be, he said, if you knew who was asking you to give you a drink, I mean, who was asking for a drink, you would have asked him for a drink, he would have gave you living water.
was Christ ever going to give the other nations living water? Come on. First. Come on, man.
Watch this. Verse 11.
John chapter 4 and verse 11. The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water?
He said, whence then have thou that living water, right? He said, you ain't got no, he said, man, what's the little so I can dip down in the water? What the fuck is I go get you some water? All right, read.
Art thou greater than our father Jacob?
Man, this is retarded to think everybody come out of Jacob. I'm talking about, this is blatant madness. There's only two nations that came out of Jacob, man. I mean, it's only one nation that came out of Jacob. I'm talking about one nation. I'm talking about that's mad. That's pretty retarded to think you're not coming out of Jacob, right? Watch it read.
So, like, art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well and drank thereof himself?
Right, read it.
And his children and his cattle.
And his cattle, read.
Yahweh answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again.
The same way they was in the wilderness. They thirsted again. Right, we'll read.
Come. Whosoever shall drinketh of the water that I shall give him,
read.
Shall never thirst.
Read.
But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water, springing up into everlasting life.
Right, read on.
The woman said unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not.
So he told Christ, give me this water so I amen. Right? Watch this. I'm telling you, this thing gets so plain. Y'all know he sent the disciples out to go give him meat. Right? Let's jump down to verse 29.
Verse 29. Come.
28 slide.
Verse 28. The woman then left her water pot and went her way into the city and said to the men, come, see a man which told me all things that ever I did. Is not this the Christ? Then they went out of the city and came unto him.
Right, we don't.
In the meanwhile, his disciples prayed him, saying, Master, eat.
So they were telling Christ, hey, come eat, right? Read.
But he said unto them, I have meat to eat that ye know not of.
So the disciples looking at Christ like, well, we just sent us out to go get some meat, right? But Christ said, I got meat that y'all don't know nothing about, right? But read.
Therefore said the disciples one to another, have any man brought him aught to eat?
So they asked each other, did anybody bring Christ something to eat? Read.
Come. Verse 34. Yahweh said unto them,
What you say?
my meat is to do the will of him that sent me and to finish his work.
He said, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me. Right? What? To bring strong doctrine, to bring direction into the nation again, to put the family back together. This is what the divide for us in Christianity. They don't understand what Christ's job was to do. Right? Read on, watch this.
Verse 35. Say not ye that ye, so like that are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest.
He said they are white. He said these fields, just think on the spiritual side of this thing, brothers. These fields are ready to be harvested, man. Right? Read.
And he that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal. That both he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together.
Y'all see this? What is this going into, brothers?
Psalm 30.
It said, he that rejoices and he that reapeth sowing together. Talents. This goes into the talent. Watch it, but read on.
And herein is that same truth. One soweth and another reapeth.
Right? Read on.
I sent you to reap that whereon you bestowed no labor. Other men labor, and you are entered into their labor.
He said, other men labor, and you are entered into their labor. Other men sow, and you are entered into their labor. What does that mean? What you got? Which is what?
Some people been in the truth.
Prodigal son was going into the prodigal son. We gonna be laboring, but it's gonna be people that's gonna be reaping their weekend too. Because they got to be woke up. Some of these people gonna wake up at the last trump. But it's our job what to do what? Wake them up. All right? But read on.
And many of the Samaritans of that city believed on him. For the saying of the woman which testified, he told me all that ever I did.
So read on.
So when the Samaritans were come unto him, they besought him.
They besought Christ, read.
That he would tarry with them.
They asked Christ to stay there with them, man, read.
And he abode there 2 days.
And he stayed there 2 days, read.
And many more believed because of his own word.
They believe because Christ's own word, saying what?
And said unto the woman, now we believe, not because of thy saying.
He said, we believe not because of thy saying, read.
For we have heard him ourselves. And know that he is indeed the Hamashiach, the Savior of the world.
Y'all see how they go? The Savior of what damn world? Man, this man, look, they got to be out of their mind, man. Right? I mean, you know, sometimes people don't believe, man. Watch this. I'm gonna show you something else. Go to Isaiah 35. Sorry, verse 1. Isaiah chapter 35 and verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 35 and verse 1. The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them.
He said the wilderness and the solitary place is gonna be glad for them. He said it's gonna be glad for them. Right? Read.
In the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose.
Right? Verse 6.
Then shall the lame man leap as an hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert.
Meaning what? And see how I told brother put that spiritual blindness on. Meaning what? Say what? Man, y'all talking so low, man. Can't understanding about what though? About what though? I need more. You know, I need more. It says, and then shall the lame man leap up as a hart, and the tongue of the dumb shall sing. Meaning when Christ stepped on the scene, like brothers, what happened when Christ stepped on the scene? He started to do miracles. He started to heal, right? That's why I say, open up your spiritual blinders on. Christ stepped in. Brothers got to think on how the same way a brother was being tried in the wilderness. I'm gonna explain this to the brothers one more time. The same way you was tried in the wilderness, and you was coming up out of Egypt, and how you was tried then, you're gonna be tried all the way till you get to the wilderness again, and you're gonna be tried again. But in those trials, you will see things happening like this. Christ stepped up on the scene, and what happened? He started to heal. Right? Meaning people will come up out of their dark state, or people come out of darkness and they'll start entering into what? Into the light. Brothers, understand it. You'll start going from the darkness and start entering into that light. And he's going to start what Christ will do, what, or the scriptures will do, what? Heal you. Will start healing, brothers and sisters, so they can get that, what? That living water. Brothers and sisters, understand it. All right? Because this is what we fight for, to get the living water, right? Go to Jeremiah 2. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 29.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 2 and verse 29. Wherefore when ye plead with me, ye all have transgressed against me, said the Lord.
The Lord said we all transgressed against him, right? He said, wherefore have you plead with me, you all have transgressed against me, right? Said the Lord, right? See?
In vain have I smitten your children. They receive no correction.
He said they received no correction. Meaning what? He corrected them, but they didn't take the damn correction, right?
Your own sword had devoured your prophet,
right?
Like a destroying lion.
Like a destroying lion.
O generation, see ye the word of the Lord. Have I been a wilderness unto Israel?
So the Lord asked, he said, have I been a wilderness unto you? Right? Read.
A land of darkness?
Have I been a land of darkness to you? Read.
Wherefore say my people, we are Lord.
So guess what it is? It's the same thing our people say, are we lords? Yeah. Are we lords? Are we gods? Are we lords? Yeah. Thinking that you can do it on your own. No, the Lord is trying to wake that spirit back up into brothers and sisters, man. Right? Because we can't do it on our own, man. Are we lords? Read.
We are lords. We will come no more unto thee.
He said we will come no more unto thee. That's tough, man. This is how we deal with our God. Just, the Lord tried us in the wilderness. Guess what? I guess we must have thought our God was a wilderness. We must have thought he was darkness because we didn't want to choose the light. He showed us the light. Read on.
God, can a maid forget her ornaments?
Read.
Or a bride her attire?
Bride or attire, read.
Yet my people have forgotten days without number.
This is how our people became to our God. We forgot him days without number. Thinking about before we got in the truth. We didn't think nothing about the Lord like we really do think about him now. The Lord said we forgot about him days without number. Right? Read.
Son, why trimmest thou thy ways to seek love?
Because this is what we did for the other nations. We trimmed our ways from our God because we was getting tried to seek love from another nation. Right? Read.
Therefore, hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways.
So therefore, after we trimmed our ways, we shall start teaching our children the wicked ways too. It's a trickle down effect, man. Right? We cannot trim our ways to seek love from. I don't care who it's from. I don't care if it's from another Israelite or whatever. You cannot trim your ways to seek love. It's got to be thus said the Lord. We in the truth for the truth. We in the truth because our glory. Right? Go to Ezekiel chapter 20. Ezekiel chapter 20 and start at verse 10.
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 10. Wherefore I caused them to go forth out of the land of Egypt.
So he said, wherefore I caused them to go forth out of the land of Egypt. Read.
And brought them into the wilderness.
And so guess what? The Lord is not the wilderness. He brought us to the wilderness. Right? Read.
Come. And I gave them my statutes.
So the Lord, in the wilderness, the Lord said, I gave y'all my statutes. Right? Read.
Which if a man do, he shall live in them.
He said, I gave you my statutes and showed them my judgment. Right? Read that again.
Come. And I gave them my statutes and showed them my judgment. Which if a man do, he shall even live in them.
He can live in those laws, statutes, and commandments. It's not a hard thing. But read.
Moreover, also, I gave them my Sabbath.
So he said, moreover, also, I gave you my Sabbath. Read.
To be a sign between me and them, that they might know that I am the Lord that sanctifies.
So that we might know that He's the Lord that sanctifies us, man, that separated us, man. Right? Read.
But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness.
So we rebelled to the Lord against the Lord in the wilderness. Man. Read.
They walk not in my statutes, and they despise my judgment.
Read.
Which if a man do, he shall even live in them. And my Sabbaths they greatly polluted.
This is what our people, guess what? We polluted the Sabbath, so the other nation had no problem about polluting the Sabbath, and we relished in anything too. Right? Read.
Then I said, I would pour out my fury upon them in the wilderness to consume them. Y'all know who all he consumed. We just went through all of it. Right? Read. But I wrought for my name's sake, that it should not be polluted before the heathen.
Before the heathen, read.
In whose sight I brought them out.
So the Lord said he literally brought out of the sight of the heathen. He said, for my name's sake, I won't kill y'all. Right? Verse 15.
Yet also I lifted up my hand unto them in the wilderness, that I would not bring them into the land which I have given them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands.
Which is the glory of all lands, right? Which Israel is the what? The glory of all lands. Right? Why y'all think we want to go back there? We want to go to the glory of all lands, man. We don't want to go back to some rinky-dink place, man. You got all these Edomites in here doing whatever and however they want to. No, we're not going to that type of place. We want the Lord to make that thing right. We can go back there, man. Right? But read.
Because they despise my judgment and walk not in my statutes.
And walk not in his statutes. Read.
But polluted my Sabbaths. For their heart went after their idols.
Right? Oh, read on.
Nevertheless, mine eyes spared them from destroying them.
The Lord said he spared us. Thinking about how gracious our God is, he literally had to spare us. Read.
Neither did I make an end of thee in the wilderness.
Right? He said he didn't make an end of us. Remember, read.
But I say unto their children in the wilderness.
But he said, I say unto their children in the wilderness, read.
Walk ye not in the statutes of your fathers, neither observe their judgments.
Neither observe their judgment, read.
Nor defile yourselves with their idols.
So this is what they saying to the little children. Why do you think Christ called one of the little children to do what? He didn't call one of these grown-ups that he can't tell nothing. Or he's not calling a grown Israelite that didn't come back as a babe that he can't tell nothing. He wants everybody to come back as a babe so he can tell the little children something and they will listen. Right? You thinking that you got Christianity, and guess what? Some of the ways that you carry from Christianity on you, you think you can survive this truth? Your ass gonna perish. You shall surely perish. Just take a little time. You're gonna have to forget everything you know. You're gonna have to come back as a babe. This is plain. Read.
I am the Lord your God. Walk in my statutes and keep my judgment.
He said, I am the Lord thy God. Walk in my statutes and keep my judgment. Right? Jump down to verse 33.
Verse 33. As I live, said the Lord. It's the Lord God. Surely with that mighty hand and with the stretched out arm and with fury will I.
So he said, the Lord said, with fury poured out, I'm going to rule over you. Right? Meaning what? I'm going to check y'all and I'm going to correct y'all. Right? Read.
And I will bring you out from the people.
And the Lord will bring us from the people. Read.
And will gather you out of the countries wherein you are scattered.
Wherever we scattered at, the Lord said He's going to gather us up. Read.
With the mighty hand, and with the stretched out arm, and with fury poured out.
Right, read on.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people.
Read on.
And there will I plead with you face to face.
So the Lord said, I'm good. He said, now in our captivity, now go what the Lord said He will have to do for us. He's going to get us out from among all these other nations. He ain't said another nation come. You see, and that's the total ignorance of it. He's going to get us. He's going to take us to the wilderness. And He's going to plead with us face to face. Come here, son. I got to talk to you. That's what the Lord said. We got to talk to us. Daughters, He got to talk to us. Right? We'll read.
Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, said the Lord God.
Said the Lord God. Watch it read.
And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
Meaning the new covenant. If you get mad all you want to, man. Right? We know we on the outskirts of the new covenant, we going into it. But we ain't full-fledged in that thing, man. But watch how it go. Watch it.
Come. Verse 38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels.
Stop. What did Moses call them in the wilderness? Y'all see how this goes? If you got Moses, the most meekest and humble person in Israel, and that's Numbers chapter 20. Brothers didn't know. When he hit the rock, Numbers chapter 20, I think verse 10, 11, 12, like that. The Lord said He gonna purge from among out of us the rebels. Meaning the people that don't want to listen, the people that didn't come back to the Lord as a babe, the people that wasn't trying to be the children of the Israel. They was trying to do what I want to do. Right? The Lord said, I'm gonna purge out from among you the rebels. Read.
And them that transgress against me, I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel.
Meaning they going to the lake. Read.
And ye shall know that I am the Lord. As for you, O house of Israel, thus said the Lord God.
Yes, He said, I'm gonna purge out from among you the rebels, and He said they're not gonna enter into His rest. The Lord's not gonna allow that thing, man. Right? Because the Lord called the land of Israel what? He called it the habitations of what? Let me see. The habitation of what? Huh? Quiet or peace. Right? He expects us to go to the place.
Jeremiah 31 and verse 1 right there. So even like I was touching on, it's still gonna be a proving process. You're gonna get grace. That's what it's for right now. So we try, we have that grace, but grace is something that we can't abuse. Read this right quick out, Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 1.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 1. At the same time, said the Lord, will I be the God of all the families of Israel,
Of all nations.
of Israel,
Read on out.
and they shall be my people.
Verse 2 is the point. Read on.
Thus said the Lord, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness.
In the what?
In the wilderness.
For the Most High God, He gives us grace in His wilderness. Read on up.
Even Israel, when I went to cause him to
And
rest.
that's the point that we're looking for. We're looking for the Most High God to give us that rest. Read on up.
Verse 3, the Lord hath appeared of old unto me, saying, yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love.
So His love for Israel has never stopped. Read on up.
Therefore, with loving kindness have I drawn thee. Again, I will build thee, and thou shalt be built.
And thou shalt be what?
And thou shalt be built.
And that's what we're starting to see right now. We see the Most High God starting to build these babes up, man. Read on up.
O Virgin of Israel, thou shalt again be adorned with thy tabernacle, and shalt go forth into the dance of them that make merry.
So we want to make sure, like we say, focusing in on that virgin, meaning a person that's what? Undefiled, untouched. Want to make sure that we keep all praise to the Most High going through this thing being undefiled by the philosophies of America. Because we know that these things are heavy out there. And this is the only way to get through there. Go ahead, Al.
Big con on it. Go to Isaiah chapter 32. And verse 15, it's the last precept. Yeah. Side of the law.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 32 and verse 15.
I'm gonna read down to 18. Read.
Until the Spirit be poured upon us from on high.
So the spirit that the Lord poured on us above on high, right? Read.
The wilderness be a field.
And the wilderness be a fruitful field. Read.
In the fruitful field be for a forest.
He said, in the fruitful field be counted for a forward. Read.
Then judgment shall dwell in the wilderness.
Then the judgment, he said, the judgment gonna dwell in the wilderness, right? Read.
And righteousness remain in the fruitful field.
So guess what? After you being tried, guess what? The righteous is gonna dwell in the and gonna remain with the fruitful field. Meaning what, bro? Gonna get the kingdom, meaning we're gonna be tried. Meaning, just think about the brother with the talent. You're gonna be like you say, you brought in 5, you had to go to work to go get the Lord expect you to get 5 more. Right? Then he give you even more. Right? He expect you to multiply those things, right? Or read on.
Come. And the work of righteousness shall be peace.
And the work of righteousness is gonna be peace.
And the effect of righteousness, quiet.
And the effects of righteousness gonna be quietness, man. Right? Read.
And assurance forever.
And assurance forever. Right? Verse 18.
And my people shall dwell in a peaceable habitation.
This is what we want to go back to. After we leave out of the wilderness, we want to go back to a damn peaceable habitation that we ain't got to worry about. Hey, you go over here, they eat shrimp and lobster and all this. No, all this undefiled stuff. No. Y'all asses gonna look. You're gonna pay dearly, y'all try to go over here and do something in this, man. Right? We're gonna have y'all in the chokehold, man. We ain't gonna play that game with y'all like that, man. Right? But read.
And my people shall dwell in a peaceable habitation, and in sure dwellings, and in quiet resting places.
And this is what we fight to get at. Trying to get that will spirit off us, man. Right? So we can go back and get a quiet and what you say, peaceable place and habitation, man. Right? And with that, we give our honor and praise to the Most High, the Son, y'all shine. Thank y'all, brothers and sisters, for tuning in. Y'all like, y'all share the video. Y'all help us push this truth around the 4 corners of the earth. We say God, follow God's law, statutes, and commandments. So at the end of every class, we bring out a law.
Let's go to Deuteronomy 6 and 16. This will be the law for the day. Deuteronomy 6 and 16. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 16. Ye shall not tempt the Lord your God, as he tempted him in Master. You shall not tempt the Lord thy God as you tempted him.
Which
What was Master? Yeah. Okay, Jerubbaal on his own. Yeah.
Simple precept. But what is master? We got to understand what we should be tempting the Lord on.
Huh?
The wilderness.
It was? Was it? Let's go to Exodus real quick, 17. We've been going through it today. Now, just jump down to verse 7. We're going to get straight to it. Now, we know chapter 17 was going into what in Exodus? Huh? No, Exodus 17.
Stay with it.
What were we doing around this time in Exodus 17? Murmuring of what? The water. Come on, we tying it in, man. Read Exodus 17 and 7.
The book of Exodus, chapter 17 and verse 7. And he called the name of the place Master in Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, is the Lord amongst us or not?
So this is what the Lord is telling us to not tempt him by. We tempted the Lord by telling him, hey man, we ain't got no water, right? Or we gonna be sent down here to die of thirst, right? So when we go back to Deuteronomy 6:16, read it again.
Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 16.
Get the extended law today.
Ye shall not tempt the Lord your God, as he tempted him in Massah.
So bring it in home in our class, man. When we were in the wilderness, don't do the same thing and tempt your Lord again. Don't continue to piss your Lord off again over and over. Right? Y'all understand that? Massah was where Moses struck the rock, right? And the children of Israel murmured and complained, still eat. Don't tempt the Lord your God like we did in Massah. Huh?
I hope y'all brothers and sisters, man. I hope y'all got some edification for today. Like brothers and sisters, like brother was saying, trying to get brothers and sisters, man, the same spirit that they had in the wilderness, we carry the same spirit today, and these are the things that we try to change. Man. But then we give our honor and praise to most I saw y'all shot. Alone. That's alone.
She bad. Married. Right.